Gulf Coast want to hear. Tropical storm Harvey now expected to make landfall as a major hurricane, bringing as much as 30 inches of rain. And good morning to you on this Thursday. I'm Melanie Lawson.
And I'm Tom Cook. What a mess it could be. Well, we have live team coverage this morning of Harvey from along the coast and then here closer to Houston.
Yeah, but we want to begin this morning with meteorologist Travis Herzog. And Travis, we know you have been watching this all morning. What are we talking about when we say a major hurricane?
A major hurricane means the wind speeds are at least 111 miles per hour. The forecast now for landfall along the middle Texas coast Friday night, early Saturday morning is at 115, which puts it squarely in Category 3 territory. Now, this scale was originally designed as a damage scale, and winds at Category 3 can produce devastating damage. Now, those winds are going to be confined to a pretty small area right around the center of circulation. So that's why we're always so concerned about where exactly will the center go when it comes to the winds. But the impacts from Harvey will be widespread and could last for days. Normally, when hurricanes come in and they're out within about 24 hours. This time, we're talking about a stalling hurricane that could dump an unbelievable amount of rain across our part of the state. Here's what's changed. Since last night, the storm has rapidly intensified, and when you look at the satellite structure, it's starting to look more like a hurricane than a disorganized tropical depression like it was just 24 hours ago. Harvey has undergone a process called rapid intensification. That's when it sees its winds increase by 35 miles per hour in a 24-hour period, and Harvey may still be strengthening even more. We also now have landfall expected on Friday night, okay? And the big change here was the intensity upgrade from a Category 1 at landfall now to a Category 3 because Harvey has explosively intensified overnight, which was unexpected. Now, the rainfall accumulations forecast has been upped from 10 to 15. Now the range is from 10, 12 to 20 inches of rain, up to 30 inches specifically along the middle Texas coast and into southeast Texas, our part of the state. And the storm surge forecast was also just increased. Earlier this morning, they increased it 5 to 7 feet. Now it's up to 10 feet, and that is going to be worst right where the center makes landfall and just off to the east. There are numerous watches and warnings that are currently in effect, and we'll get to those in just a moment. This is the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center at 10 o'clock. Excuse me, they upped the wind speeds to 65 miles per hour. The pressure continues to drop. As that number goes lower, that means the storm is organizing and getting stronger, and it's still dropping. When this number gets to about 980, that's usually the threshold at which we have a hurricane on our hands, and it's very close to that. In fact, Harvey already has an eye. As the recon is flying through, they have found a closed eye about 18 miles wide with a very warm core. That means that the engine, the heat engine of the storm is cranking efficiently, and there's not much right now that's going to stop it from intensifying, and that's why we've got this upgrade now to a Category 3 hurricane at landfall. Now, I know we often focus on that center line, and for those that are wondering, yes, the center of the cone has shifted a little more to the northeast. Instead of being aimed more at Corpus Christi Bay, it's now between Rockport and Port O'Connor, so getting closer to Matagorda Bay. Everywhere along and east of the hurricane's path is what we often refer to as the dirty side, where you get the worst impacts and the most prolonged impacts, and that puts all of southeast Texas on the dirty side of the storm. We're very confident that this is coming for Texas as a hurricane, most likely now a major hurricane, and the landfall sometime Friday night or Saturday morning. Once we get to Sunday and beyond, then the path of Harvey becomes very uncertain. The steering currents basically go away, and this storm is just going to meander for several days. The official cone then gets really wide as it kind of spins and slowly works its way off to the east. So the intensity forecast is still a little bit uncertain in terms of just how strong it's going to get, but the track forecast to landfall, very confident. After that, we're not exactly sure exactly which way it's going to drift. But most of the computer projections I've seen indicate that as the storm, if it comes in as a hurricane, it most likely will make that drift off to the east. Now, the counties that you see shaded in yellow are under a tropical storm warning. That includes Houston, Harris County, and all counties along I-10 into San Antonio. San Antonio, Bexar County, now also under a tropical storm warning. The orange counties, you are under a hurricane warning. That means sometime within the next 36 hours, you can expect hurricane conditions, meaning winds in excess of 74 miles per hour. We're also seeing that hurricane warning extend to the town of Matagorda, so kind of the midline of Matagorda County is currently where that warning officially extends. And then you'll notice there's kind of this purplish color on the coast. That is our new storm surge warning. The storm surge is actually the most dangerous, destructive, and deadly part of a hurricane. It's that storm tide that comes in with the storm, driven by the winds, and that's why we say run from the water and hide from the wind. winds. So the folks that are in that storm surge warning and particularly the hurricane warning need to be listening very closely and carefully to what your local emergency and management officials start telling you throughout the day today. I have a feeling we're going to start seeing some evacuation orders being issued southwest of Houston. Here in town, it's the flooding that's going to be the biggest concern. Yes, the wind threat increasing a little bit as Harvey has nudged a little closer this way and the intensity has ramped up. There will be some scattered power outages, but the widespread flooding is going to be a concern for just about all of us. So coming up, we're going to break things down for you by each threat that a hurricane poses, starting with the storm surge, which is the deadliest part of a hurricane. We'll talk about the inland flooding, which is the second most dangerous part of a hurricane. Then we'll focus more in on the winds and the possibility of tornadoes. But I really want to hammer home the point that we have to respect the water anytime a tropical system comes in, because studies show that the elements that pose the greatest risk to life are actually the water-based ones. That storm tide that comes in, and then also the inland flooding. And we're talking about some unprecedented amounts of rain for a huge area of Texas. More on that coming up in your forecast.
All right, Travis, and that has a lot to do with